This week I watched 4 different versions of A Christmas Carol. We're gonna do 2 of them right now, and then 2 of them are have had have not scenes. Um, but these ones are The Muppets Christmas Carol, and Jim Carrey's version of Hakime says, "Yeah, it's a classic, but I've seen it way too many times."
I've seen it once.
Um,
It was all right.
uh, yeah, I did The Muppets Christmas Carol and Jim Carrey's version of A Christmas Carol. Um,
The Muppets version is objectively the best one.
Ah, humbug.
He was the greediest man alive
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
until the night he met someone extraordinary.
Hello.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I'm saying
It's-
it. Staking my claim.
it's definitely one of my
Saying it right now.
favorites. I also like the Mickey Mouse one, but the
do.
Muppet one is it has a charm to it.
Michael Caine taking
It's-
it 100% seriously.
Oh yeah, the fact that he treats the Muppets 100% seriously is what makes it as good as it is.
Right?
I love the fact that the Muppets aren't like it's not like it's Kermit. It's Kermit playing Bob Cratchit.
Right? Right?
Like it's all of the Part of Your Broadway World podcast says I did the versions of A Christmas Carol for episode last year.
Yes, you did. With the shake.
Hakime says I love the Muppet version, even have it on VHS.
It's good. It's
Uh,
a good version.
It's a classic. I
It's
watched
the best version.
So fun fact on Disney Plus, if you go into the extras menu, it has what it calls the full version, like the uncut version, because I guess in the version that they have, they cut out the song where Michael Caine and what's her name, the girl that Ebenezer Scrooge is in love with, they sing a song together, which it seems to be the one that's cut out of their main version on Disney Plus. But if you go under the extra section, they have it added back in. That's the version that I watched, and it's a delight.
It is.
Um,
It is a delight.
I love the fact that they have Waldorf and Statler. They've created Marley and Marley.
It's
Like
Marley and Marley.
We're Marley and Marley. Our hearts were painted black.
I love that. I love that version of it. And then there's the Jim Carrey version, which is kind of the more accurate version of the story.
What do you want with me?
You will be haunted by 3 spirits. I'd rather not.
Real version.
One of there's a line I can never remember what the exact line is on the on the spot, but there's a line that's always interested me. What about something that he says to the Ghost of Christmas Present about something about church on Sundays, or like I can't remember what it is, but it's a line that most people that gets cut out of most versions of that story. That's from the book.
Yeah, I think it's something to the effect.
Spirit, these poor people have no means to cook their food, and yet you seek to close the only places in which they can warm their meager meals every 7th day.
Of you demand a day, like a day from us hardworking people to go spend in your house, something to that effect.
Yeah,
And
that's what it was. That implies that the Ghost of Christmas Present is God.
The Ghost of Christmas Present is like it's not my house. Like, what man does on earth is not what me and my brethren.
Yeah,
Because he's like he has like 1,036 brothers or something like that, which I think are all different angels. It's implied not that he's God, but that he's an angel.
And then it also keeps the detail, which I believe is in the original book, which is that the Ghost of Christmas Present, he's slowly dying, and he becomes the Ghost of Christmas future.
Yeah.
The scene that's kind
Ebenezer
of scary.
or Scrooge also, Ebenezer, whatever the other one is, also does that. Um, but yeah, in this version, yeah, Part of Your Broadway World says it best. It's the more gruesome version. Yeah, the
Yeah.
part where
Yeah.
Christmas present leaves and like he turns gray and then he fades to dust and then he's just the skeleton and he turns into death.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's pretty harrowing.
Um, I mean, there's a lot in the movie which, considering it's supposed to be a children's movie, is definitely a little darker than all of the other versions.
Right.
But I like. There's also just the fact that it's weird. That Jim Carrey is like the different versions,
Oh,
and they
yeah,
all look like him.
Bob Zemeckis, weird, Uncanny Valley. They all look like him.
Yeah, it's a little different.
They also, yeah, I
But
think it's one of those ones that kind of implies that it's in his head, like it doesn't actually happen.
it's a dream, is what they imply, because at the end of death, he's in the grave and he's hanging on, and then he falls. He hits the ground, and it's like he was tangled up in his bed curtains. So it
'Cause
kind of implies that it was a
Some
dream.
somebody years later wrote
Ah,
a
yeah,
quote
that's
unquote.
another example of the more gruesome part. Is Part of Your Broadway World says is when Marley's jaw unhinges, and it's like, no welfare in my jaw.
Yeah.
Business.
It's also just a weird choice to have the dialogue be closer to the original book. Like, again, you're right. This is supposed to be for children, theoretically. Like, yeah, that was a very. It's all I remember about that movie. Is just being like, this is a weird adaptation. I don't understand why Jim Carrey is in this. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely different, but
Yeah.
I like it.
yeah.
That's all I really have to
That's
say
it.
about those two
My
different versions of A Christmas Carol.
my final.
I mean, it's a modern retelling of A Christmas Carol. That's right. You thought I only did two of them, but I did more than two.
But I did a third
I
one.
also did Spirited.
On a bitter, cold Christmas Eve, one dark soul is selected for redemption by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. A tradition that continues to this very night.
Like A Christmas Carol?
Yes, yes. If you would just let me get this out. Sit.
So, out of all the people on the planet, murderers, people who do gender reveal parties, I'm the guy you're gonna haunt.
You know what? Forget it.
A movie that is also good.
Hakime says Frosty and Peanuts.
Peanuts is also good.
Yeah, it's a modern retelling of Christmas Carol where basically Will Ferrell has been doing the same, haunting a person and making them three Christmas ghosts and making them good all in one night for years and years and years. They call them seasons, but years and years. And then he's gonna try and redeem an irredeemable, which is Ryan Reynolds, and it turns the whole Christmas Carol story on its head. And I don't want to give away at all because it's genuinely very good, and more people should watch it.
Yeah, it is a severely underrated Christmas movie that I think more people would see if it wasn't trapped on Apple TV.
I did not watch it on Apple TV.
I also did not watch it on Apple TV.
Wink,
Wink your face.
wink.
Wink your face.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Wink your face.
But yeah, without giving away all the details, it's just it's enjoyable, and it has two really solid songs.
I like most of the songs. Honestly, my only real criticism is there's one bad song. They're really obsessed with one joke, and it's the notion of saying "good afternoon." For whatever reason, they thought it was hilarious. It becomes its own song. It is legit the worst song in the movie. It goes on for a eternity.
See, what's funny is as I was watching the Jim Carrey one, at the point where the nephew is trying to convince Scrooge to go to dinner And Scrooge keeps saying, "Good afternoon," and I was like, "Oh, he just swore."
Right? Like
He
somebody.
he just told his nephew to fuck off. Whoa.
Yeah, somebody who wrote Spirited really thought that that joke was clever. They wrote an entire musical number around it, and it's the worst song in the movie, and it goes on
Um,
forever,
um,
forever.
that being said, "Do a Little Good" is really good.
I like Do a Little Good. I like
I also like "Unredeemable."
Unredeemable's good. I like Ripple. I like Ripple.
It's
Um,
okay.
I like I mean, I like Bringing Back Christmas. I enjoy that one too.
I mean, I like them all. It's just I don't like them all enough to put on a playlist.
Yeah, fair enough. And we're gonna spoil it. We're gonna spoil this movie. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's totally worth it. It's really good. The music's good. I mean, it's a Paul and Pasek. They're all gonna be earworms. Paul and Pasek did Greatest Showman and Dear Evan Hansen. And as I'm saying this, you're probably think, oh yeah, that explains why I like the music. Um,
I already knew that. You told me that's how you got me to watch it in the first place.
yeah. It's Paul and Pasek.
Um,
They make good. They make
um,
earworms.
so what's funny about it is that um, I, I just would never have thought that Will Ferrell would be as good in it as he
Man,
is.
he is passionate about it. He's got a producer credit, and I know I bring this up every time we talk about this movie, but it continues to be funny that he gets 3 solos, three solos.
Yeah,
One of which was cut and then put back into the post credits.
I just would not have thought of him to be a musical height.
Like, Ryan Reynolds doesn't get 3 solos. He gets like 1 solo and it gets cut off. How do I get 2 solo? No, because I wouldn't even count Bringing Back Christmas as a solo. Like he gets like 1 solo and it gets cut off.
But if we're talking spoilers,
We're spoiling.
the point, yeah, spoilers. The point where you find out that Will Ferrell's character is Ebenezer Scrooge,
That's
genuinely, the first time I watched it, genuinely I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's a pretty clever twist. It does make you go, wait, so like, how did it's a real guy?
Did Dickens hear about it and base the story on him? Was he also haunted by the 3 ghosts, and that's why he knows about all of that?
Right.
Like, what's the logic there?
It does get oddly dark in the 3rd act. I will say that.
Well, yes, but to be fair, that is the Christmas Carol influence. All of the Christmas Carol stories get dark in the 3rd act. That's kind of the point.
I suppose, but I more meant like the fact that I mean, yeah, the kid killed himself. That is kind of, but I meant the fact that he dies in the end. Now,
Yeah,
that's dark.
But he's Tiny Tim. He doesn't die in the end.
Clint dies.
Oh, you mean Ryan Reynolds dies. Yeah. I thought you meant the kid.
No, the kid doesn't actually die. But the fact that Ryan Reynolds dies at the end, I'm like, that's kind of dark.
Kind of, but also he breaks death.
Yeah, true. He does hack death a little bit.
He hacks death. He's able to visit people that are alive, and he's not really dead.
And like, what is that? What is the concept of the other world in this universe? Like, do I get a choice? Can I go work for the Christmas singing dancing department? Because I'll do that. That seems like kind of an okay gig.
See, my thing is more. I'm on the opposite side. I'm like, do I have to go work for the musical day? Is that a punishment for some people? Some people volunteer, but is that other people's version of hell?
And like also like
the guy who's working on the set design in the background, he's not leading or in charge. He's just doing grunt work. That's work.
And also, like, do I start off as the guy standing off to the side watching them, and then I work my way up to choreography? Is that how that works?
Like, there's a lot of questions, and
got a lot of questions.
We will never get the answer unless they somehow make a sequel.
Yeah, they did put this in the theaters for a bit last year, and it didn't do crazy well. Again, which is a shame. This is one of those ones that if it had gone to theaters, I swear it would have done like a proper theatrical run. I think it would have done way better.
I tend to agree, but I really enjoy it, and I do recommend it for people to watch. It's
totally worth it if you have Apple TV or other means. Winky face.
Yo ho.
Yo ho.
Yo ho.
Pirate's life. For me. Ho ho ho. Ho. Winky face.
But that's Spirited. Oh. I hope you like A Christmas Carol. because we're going to talk about it for a fourth time.
Oh God, not more Christmas Carol.
And I mean, what can I say about Scrooge, A Christmas Carol, other than nobody infiltrates A Christmas Carol movies like Gaston.
Oh, Christmas Eve in London. Who in the world could resist it? Humbug. The cost of that ink will be deducted from your pay.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Yes, yes, ding dong merrily.
Nobody sings the best songs in that movie like Gaston.
Because Scrooge is played by the guy who did the live action version of Gaston.
The only reason we've seen this movie is because of TikTok. Because I saw the clip of the I can't remember the name of it, but the one song.
It's
Take my hand.
Take a hand, go with her now and you'll fly free. No more later, we both know that's a lie. This will be the day she said goodbye.
Come with me now and
Where is
you'll
it?
fly free. No more.
Tell Me?
I think it's Tell Me.
Or no, it's Later Never Comes.
Later Never Comes, that's it. I saw a clip of that on TikTok, and I was like, what is this? Surely all the music in this movie must be as good as this one. It's not. It's not really.
I would say the only one which is as good as it is the song "Tell Me," which is yet again like it's one of the ones that Gaston sings.
Yeah. It's otherwise an all right movie that's just kind of forgettable.
It's I mean, it's got stuff in there that I like. I like the interpretation of Ghost of Christmas Past. I like
that's fun.
I
You're
like
right.
the characterizations, and I like the animation, and like it looks cute and it looks fun. It very much reminds me. I described it as this, and I kind of tend to stick with it. It reminds me of like a early 2000s straight to Disney DVD movie.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Which works. Like, it's not bad, but it's not like breaking any boundaries or anything. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I think it does it decently well. It's not like the worst version of Scrooge that I watched this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Okay, I watched 3 musicals.
I would say it probably was.
I've watched 3 musicals, so I compare those 3 against each other. I don't really put the Jim Carrey one in the same category
Yeah, fair enough.
because it's kind of a completely different vibe.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I like them all for different reasons. Like this one kind of just feels like it's and it was an artistic choice, which I thought was interesting. Scrooge feels younger in this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Like his portrayal, the way he looks, the way he feels younger. And so it's kind of just it was a breath of fresh air considering in all the other ones he's like an 80-year-old guy. Here he feels like late 50s, 60 at most. And that really does bring like a different energy to the character. I also really appreciated in this one, he has Marley's dog from the beginning. And he genuinely seems to love and like the dog. And so it kind of, you know how in Cumber Grinch's version of the Grinch, it makes him seem more approachable and more like, because he also loves his dog in that version.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch, he's kind of an asshole towards Max.
Yep.
So the fact that like you see, Ebenezer in this one loves the dog or likes the dog at least, it just makes him seem like less of a Scrooge.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That does, yeah.
which kind of seems to line up to. I saw it was a Reddit post which I saw which described this. Whereas in the original story, Scrooge, because they looked into comparing what Bob Cratchit made versus like whether that was actually a fair wage. 15 crowns a day, which in terms of from what I read anyway from this Reddit post back in the day would have been considered that was a fair wage.
Yeah.
It didn't cover. The thing is that it didn't cover like his Tiny Tim's sickness, but it was like for an average family size and a normal family back in the day, it was fair. And that's because in the original story, Scrooge was considered to be a very fair and reasonable businessman. By the book, didn't do anything underhanded, which is where in a lot of these stories where he's portrayed really bad in terms of business, that going from what I understand anyway, that kind of goes against what the actual character is supposed to be. He's supposed to be very like fair to a fault when it comes to business, to the point where like the thing that makes him bad in terms of old-timey times is that he won't go above and beyond. So like for Cratchit, his family is sick, he doesn't consider that to be his problem. He pays him a fair day's wage. That should then be Cratchit's problem. Right? That's what makes him bad in the original story, is because the point was supposed to be for like on Christmas and around that season, you should be going above and beyond, not just the bare minimum.
Gotcha.
So it's been fascinating. I guess my ultimate summation of the Christmas Carol experience is it is absolutely fascinating experiencing 4 different versions of the same story.
What was the character's name? It was Small Sam?
So for which what?
It was no, it wasn't Small Sam. It was abnormally small.
No, I think you mean Tiny Tim.
What was it? It was slightly smaller.
You're talking about Bob Cratchit's son, the one who dies, or if Scrooge doesn't change his ways. Tiny Tim.
No. It wasn't Tiny Tim. It was
It was absolutely Tiny Tim.
It was slightly shorter.
No, Justin. I know you're doing a bit. You're trying to be funny. I watched 4 different versions of this movie on Christmas Caroled Out. It was Tiny Tim. Accept it and move on.
All right. That's fair. Is that it? Is that it for Christmas Carol?
Hey everyone, it's Endcard Justin again. Merry Christmas to you all. These are just a few versions of A Christmas Carol. Please let me know in the comments some of your favorite versions of A Christmas Carol. Is it the Muppets one? It's probably the Muppets one, is it? In the meantime, if you would like, you can click the video on the left, and that's going to take you to the full Christmas special where we talk about all kinds of Christmas movies, not just A Christmas Carol. Or you can click the video on the right, and that'll take you to a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy. Otherwise, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video, everybody.